Adam, the Tar Heels had their blue-white game on Saturday after the football game. What a blur it all was. I don't have the stats in front of me. I will try and do that. I'll see if our friends at GoHeels.com have them up there. I don't even know, Adam, if the stats really matter or which team won really matters. It was great to see the Tar Heels. On the negative side, R.J. Davis took a big fall. He appears to be okay. Whether or not he plays tonight in the exhibition against Memphis, I don't know. If I was the head coach of the Tar Heels and R.J. Davis was anything less than 1,000,000%, there's no sense in playing him in this game if he's not 100%. You know what R.J. Davis can do. You need R.J. Davis as healthy as possible, so we'll see. Again, don't know anything official. Didn't appear to be some kind of thing that would keep R.J. Davis out a really long time, but you never want to see him take a fall and land on kind of his backside, back, hip area as he did. It was a hard fall for sure. I think other people got to see what we have been talking about because particularly Adam, we've been fortunate enough to see the Tar Heels a fair amount here as of late. And this is a team that I think is skilled, is athletic, has a lot of talent, is constructed differently than a lot of Carolina teams we have seen in the past. In the sense that they don't have a big guy to throw the ball to on the block and have him do something or dominate the rebounding or whatever it may be. But it is a team that is going to be capable of, A, scoring a lot of points, I think, and B, at times looking really, really good. There are some deficiency that Carolina needs to improve on. But we're sitting here in the middle of October. Obviously, this journey has just begun. We're months and months and months away from Carolina or anybody being a finished product. So, in general, great to see the Heels out on the court. Plenty of tidbits that get you excited. So Trimble looked great up there throwing down a tomahawk. Ian Jackson and Drake Powell are going to be really good. You saw some of the growth, I think, from Elliot Cadeau and Jalen Washington and some other guys. And we'll start seeing a little bit more. Although, again, if Carolina wins or loses tonight against Memphis, it just doesn't matter. You want Carolina to win because they're playing, but it doesn't even count on the record. It's really just to go and raise money for St. Jude's Children's Hospital and get some quality work against another quality team. So, in general, great to see the Heels. Excited for the season. Probably not wise to take too many large takeaways from the blue-white game on Saturday or the game tonight against the Tigers.
Yeah, blue-white game, I mean, it's like the spring game in football. If you do well, that's great, but that also means you're doing well against someone who is also on your team. So that's always tough to evaluate. I do think Seth Trimble looked really good. I do think the Tar Heels want R.J. Davis to be completely healthy before they put him back out there, especially 3 weeks before you play a game that actually counts. It's not like it's January. I thought the crowd on Saturday was awesome. The fact that 10,000 people.
Yeah, like the lower level was pretty full, and there were some people in the upper level for a blue-white scrimmage.
Where parking is impossible. You don't know what time the game's going to start, and you weren't even really sure what time the doors were going to open. To have that many people who also were raising money for hurricane relief really shows something unique about Carolina basketball. That would have been a great crowd anywhere else in the ACC for a regular season game.
That is absolutely accurate.
And they were energetic and excited about getting to see it. I think that's something Carolina is going to have to take into account in future seasons. How do you have a similar type of event that gets people in the door? Kids can come, prices are reasonable. It's just something that I think will be factored in moving ahead. What you shouldn't factor in moving ahead is anything that happens against Memphis. I think you can probably assume the Tar Heels aren't going to show a ton. You're not going to see any brand new plays Hubert Davis has been drawn up over the summer. You're going to see him try to get a feel for what everyone on his roster can do against a good opponent
Oh, absolutely.
with talented, athletic, tough players. It's an interesting matchup for a Carolina team that you think might have some struggles against bigger teams on the inside, because I think that's kind of what Memphis is. So that's a good test. And how the Tar Heels choose to go against that. But that being said, the outcome does not go on your record, and they've been having these scrimmages for years. It's just that no one's seen them. This one will be on television, and everyone will immediately make pronouncements that may or may not be true.
A couple things. So the final score of the blue-white game was blue 63, white 53. This was not 2 full 20-minute halves. It was 2 12-minute halves. So, you can extrapolate out those points if you want to what it would have been in a 20-minute game. But so obviously that would be low scoring for a 40-minute college basketball game. They played 24. So keep that in mind. Closer to a half than a full game as far as the actual time on the court. Seth Trimble, who, Adam, you and I have talked about a lot of people who have watched Carolina in this preseason have spoken very highly of Seth Trimble, and his numbers are good. 19 points, 5 rebounds, 3 of which were offensive, 3 assists, no turnovers in 24 minutes. 8 of 15 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. He led all scorers. Now, R.J. Davis only played 11 minutes, so keep that in mind. Cade Tyson was 6 of 11 from the field, didn't hit a 3, which I think he will hit some 3s this year, didn't in this game. Elliot Cadeau, 12 points, 4 assists. And on the other side for the white team, again, who played without R.J. Davis most of the second half, Jalen Washington, 11 points, 7 boards, 10 for Ian Jackson on 14 shots taken. And I'm just going to there's going to be some nights that are like that for Ian Jackson where he has 10 points on 14 shots. There's also going to be some nights where he has 26 points on 14 shots. He's a very talented but still a freshman. Drake Powell, Adams' boy, had 8. R.J. Davis had 9. I mean, look, you'd be lucky to have a boy like Drake Powell in your life.
Yeah.
9 points for R.J. Davis in the limited time played. Again, I wouldn't take too much from this. But, Adam, I do think Trimble is an interesting individual for Carolina. We had Seth on a couple days after he came back to Carolina after initially entering the transfer portal. I don't know if Seth Trimble is going to start for Carolina. If R.J. Davis doesn't play tonight, I'm guessing he will. If he doesn't start, I think he'll be the first guy off the bench. I think he probably would start at almost every other team in the ACC, maybe not Duke and maybe not here, and he might start here. I don't know. The point of all this is Seth Trimble has continued to improve. He's been really impressive this preseason. I can't wait to see if it translates to consistently reaching that same level of production on the court, because if it does, watch out. He is as athletic as anybody who's going to be out there, and he can be a difference maker. We just have to see.
Anybody who's seen a few of these blue-white games is familiar with the blue-white lightning bolt, where someone has a great game.
Terrence Newby scored 30.
No offense to Terrence Newby.
We respect you, Terrence Newby.
But that was not indicative of his overall performance. What Seth Trimble did on Saturday was exactly what he's been doing in the preseason leading up to that. Then he went back out and did it on Monday morning in practice. He did the exact same thing. That was just what he's been doing. There'll be days he shoots it better from the outside than I think 1 of 4 from 3. Yeah. But there's going to be a lot of days that he dunks on people. And so I do think he is a weapon that many teams will not have, no matter in what kind of lineup the Tar Heels choose to use him.
Don't be so mean, Seth.
I also think people are spending so much time on who's going to start. I would like to know who's going to be out there at the end.
Yeah.
That's all that really matters. Who starts has much more to do with mental approach than physical skills. And we've seen countless examples of that in the history of Carolina basketball, and this is probably going to be another one because I think you've got 6 or maybe 7 who you legitimately could start. And assuming the Tar Heels aren't going to an alphabetical rotation, which we know has gotten them to the Final Four before, then you're going to have to pick 5. But that doesn't matter to me as much as if it's a 1-point game, who do you roll out there with? And I think the Tar Heels are versatile enough, and you saw that on Saturday, that if it's a 1-point game, it might depend on who the opponent is as to exactly which 5 Hubert Davis wants to use.
Can Carolina backcourt people to victory this year? That's the question, because Carolina's backcourt is going to be as good as anybody they play. There might be a team, I don't know, who is comparable to Carolina. I don't think Carolina's going to play a team that has a better back. And I'm including like Trimble and Jackson and Powell, all these guys in kind of that area. I just don't think there's going to be many teams that are even comparable to Carolina in that. There may be some. Can Carolina ride that and get enough from the combination of Washington, Lubin, Withers, and Claude? Can they get enough from that foursome to go along with the really talented guards and wings they have? That is the question for the entire season.
Combining to allow 116 points in 24 minutes could mean that Carolina is one of the best offensive teams we've ever seen. I think it's more likely to mean there's some work to be done on the defensive end, especially on the nights when the shots aren't going in as smoothly as you might like. Carolina's got some work to do defensively.
Adam, anything else basketball-wise? We are on the air tonight, 6 o'clock. Tip time, 7 o'clock Eastern for the exhibition, Carolina-Memphis.
Who will be in the analyst chair, Jones?
Adam. No, Tyler Zeller going to be with us today. And as we have done in football, we are going to have 2 analysts this year. Tyler Zeller will do, I don't have the exact numbers. I'm going to say maybe 3/4 of the games. And Tyler Hansbrough is going to do the other quarter of the games. And again, that percentage may be off, but that's the general area that it is. So looking forward to working with both those guys. All 4 of the gentlemen who joined us a season ago really did a terrific job. We just can't have 4 throughout the year. And so it's not fair to them. It's just hard to get into a rhythm when you have that many guys doing games. And so looking forward to working with both Tylers. I'm sure that won't cause any confusion this year, Adam, that 2 Tylers are doing the games. Won't be confusing at all.
Remember last year when that one lady got so mad at us because she said it was Hansbrough and we knew it was Zeller?
Yeah.
And she was just incensed that we had called the wrong Tyler the wrong name, but actually it was the right name. That will happen again this year, I predict.